Welcome back to the Reidel Law Firm Odyssey channel. Today I want to chat about some updates on the sanctions space and what's going on there. I know it's been a while since we've done a video on it, and frankly, it's because it's been moving so fast. It's just like a rocket, right? Every other day, it seems like we're getting new notices and new information on what's happening. So I'm going to explore some of the basics there and update you. If you are doing business overseas and you have export compliance matters or even import compliance matters, and you think you need some help or you want to get an extra pair of eyes on those plans, those compliance measures, give us a call. We'd love to help you out, see what you're doing, and see if we can be of help to you. And see what we take care of you. That's what we do every day. We help our folks. So with that, let's chat about the sanctions space and what's been happening. So last video I think we did was March. Sanctions have not slowed down since then. They've been growing. They've actually, the initial videos we did, we talked a lot about the specific sanctions that were being levied against Russia and other parties because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So that's where it started. It's starting to evolve now. Now we're starting to see import restrictions and import bans on certain Russian sectors or goods, and then even Russian sectors or goods that are not banned from imports. I think there are tariffs passed. It's either pending or it has passed. I forget which stage it's at where they're doing that. So even if you're importing goods from Russia that aren't banned, you're probably going to have a tariff on it that could be substantial, similar to like China's tariffs that the last administration had imposed. So international trade between the United States and Russia is at an all-time low, and it will drop to basically zero. It will end up being statistically zero in the near future, by the end of the year, basically. So that's kind of the latest on it. Every other week or so, there's additional entities and people added to the sanctions list here in the United States and other jurisdictions. And one of the interesting news items I got this morning actually was the EU dropped their latest sanctions list for entities in Russia and individuals in Russia. And that sanctions now basically blocks them from doing business in the European Union, and for any European Union individuals or entities from doing business with those sanctioned individuals. If they have property in the European Union, that property will be blocked and basically held until it's either seized by the government or whatever happens, or they're taken off the sanctions list. So anyways, they dropped the latest list, and very interestingly, they've added some individuals on there. Let me pull it up here. So one of them is Alexander Zoldanov. There we go. Zoldanov. I'm sorry. I've got to practice more. So he is the leader, I guess the president of the Night Wolves Biker Club. So a biker club president. This would be akin to like the bike clubs in the United States. I don't think these are like outlaws. I don't know. Maybe they are. But anyways, they're either the equivalent of Hell's Angels or they're the lawful equivalent of the Hell's Angels. I don't know which they are exactly. Also, the Moscow mayor was added on the list. And then two Russian actors, Sergei Bezrukov and Vladimir Mashkov, were added on the sanctions list coming out of the EU. And the rationale that the EU listed was that they are, quote, actively supporting Russian state propaganda through publicly denying Ukraine's right to statehood. And it goes on, I guess, a bit. But anyways, this is very, very interesting to me because this is kind of a new frontier for sanctions rationale, for reasons to add people to the sanctions list. Typically, and until now, I guess, people or entities who are added to the sanctions list are added because of their actions, because they have acted to support a state or a terrorist organization or a drug cartel or something, and they have done so through facilitating either money transfers or arms or whatever, anything, or logistics or bringing in materials that are needed or goods. They, so it's the reason they're added to the list in the past is because they've directly done something to support bad actors, whether that's a state or a cartel or whomever. Now, this list kind of breaks a barrier in that they're adding people to sanctions lists for, really being patriotic, essentially, for supporting state propaganda, whatever that means. It's not, from what I understand, it doesn't mean that they have a television station or a radio station and are disseminating that propaganda. That would be a distinction. Obviously, people like that are sanctioned previously because they are taking direct action to disseminate that propaganda. Now it's to the point where they're sanctioning actors and a biker club president because they, I guess, have spoken out. In support of their state, whatever, their state propaganda, which is very, very interesting. It is a new frontier in sanctions regimes and sanctions rationale. So it caught my eye. I thought it was curious. I haven't done a deep dive into it yet, but I thought I would share a little bit. It's just very interesting. I don't have anything else to say other than sanctions are becoming a very complex beast. It has grown so much and so rapidly that small businesses, medium-sized businesses, manufacturers who may not have had to have significant compliance measures in the past, that has changed this year. You absolutely need to have a deeper dive into your due diligence and your compliance measures to protect yourself and your company. So if that's you, if you're doing business with with Russia, probably not anymore. But if you're doing business in countries that are still doing business with Russia, this would be countries like United Arab Emirates, Turkey, China, of course, Singapore. I would probably include Vietnam and Indonesia on the list. And trying to think of some other major ones. Some countries in Latin America as well who have not acceded to the sanctions regime. If you're doing business in any of those countries, you need to be a little more careful. You need to do your due diligence a bit more and make sure that you have compliance measures in place to ensure that your goods are not going to be circumventing any sanctions law, because sanctions violations are strict liability. That means if you make a mistake, if you don't double check your documents and you let something slip that you should have caught, you will be held liable and you're going to be fined and penalized. And if it's egregious enough and it's malicious or intentional, you will go to jail. So give us a call if we can help you out with that, keep you out of jail and keep you legal. Make sure you're compliant with the new export control regimes as it's evolving here in the United States. We'd love to hear about what you're doing, find out if we can help you and take care of you. That's what we do every day for our clients. That's my attitude. Hey, let's figure out what you got. Let's take care of you and keep you out of jail and keep your business solvent and compliant. So if we can do that, check out the link in the description. We'd love to chat with you. And till then, we'll see you next time.